Namaste, dear ones. How are you? Lisa A. Romano here, the life coach, and today I want to talk to you about some phrases, key phrases that we need to be aware of when we are out and about in public. So, for anyone out there who's codependent, who came from a dysfunctional home, whose parents were alcoholics, we have to understand that our brains have been scrambled. If you were to take a child, let's say child A, that grew up in a non-alcoholic home, a non-dry alcoholic home, where the place was dysfunctional, but there were no drugs or alcohol to particularly look at. So basically, your mother and father effed with your head. Your siblings like messed with your head, and they learned that from mom and dad. So everyone lived in denial. So let's say that home, let's say a home like that, minus that stuff. So let's say home A is a place where the kids were treated with respect. They were raised understanding that their feelings mattered. They were encouraged to speak about how they felt. There was a round table where each person in the family got to express how they felt, and everybody was validated. They were encouraged to be their own individual person. They weren't made fun of. They weren't criticized. So that's kid A, okay? Then there's us. We're in house B. Those of us who grew up in homes where we were minimized, we were made fun of, we were criticized, we were ignored, we were treated with indifference. We were constantly being told what we think and what we feel. We were interrogated. We were good kids. Most of us were good kids, but our parents made us feel like we were specimens in a petri dish, and that we were evil, and that we weren't any good, and they always looked at us from the corner of their eye, projected their sick stuff onto us, but we didn't know that. We were kids, right? We were babies. We didn't know that. So let's say we come from a dysfunctional home where there's lots of alcoholism. Let's say mom's out slutting around and she's leaving you to take care of your baby brother and your baby sister, or you're the baby experiencing this situation. Or let's say dad's out, screwing the town and mom's home drunk. I mean, we were not supposed to be raised like that, dear one. And if you were, oh my God, like kisses and hug and love and light to you. And please, I really hope that you understand it's not you, it's your programming, which, by the way, is the name of my next book. Well, I have 2 books in the works. That's the 6th one that I'm working on. It's not you, it's your programming. So what we're going to talk about today is how, when you're raised by people who F with your head, who minimize you, who criticize you, who treat you like you're nothing, how when you're an adult, you attract people who treat you that way because that's all you know. I believe on an energetic level, we're trying to heal something. So I married my mother. I married my mother's emotional twin. I didn't know that then. I didn't know that I was trying to finally get the attention and the validation and the approval of an energy being that was so similar to my mom. I married a man who made me chase his approval. I married a man who deliberately withheld from me. I married a man who would ignore me for days. I married a man who would come home and slam the kitchen cabinets. I'd say, "What's wrong?" He'd say, "Nothing." "What's wrong with you? Why do you think there's something wrong with me?" And I mean, a complete mind, what? Like, what's happening here? Like, you look angry, but it literally made me feel like, whoa, what's going on, So similar to how I felt when I was a little girl. Didn't make the conscious connection because up until the age of about 33 or 34, I was a zombie. I was living off of this programming that I received as a child, and I was unaware that I was unaware. Okay, so about that age, I started to figure out like something's really wrong. My body was failing. Asthma, migraine headaches, stomach issue, rashes, acne, weight gain, weight loss, nervousness, anxiety, panic disorder. Doctors wanted to medicate me, which was not going to help me because I needed to know how to express my feelings. And so if you suppress my ability to get in touch with my feelings, dude, that's not going to help me. That's going to keep me stuck. And a lot of people, in my opinion, unfortunately, the psychiatric community is filled with people who just don't want you to feel anything. Don't feel it and you'll be fine. Okay, what? That's crazy. Teach me how to feel. We don't know how to feel. And I encourage you, dear ones, if you're in therapy and you have a psychiatrist or you have a psychologist or a licensed therapist and you get the feeling that they do not hear you, find another one. They work for you. You are their boss, okay? You don't need them. They need you. Okay, and you have the right to walk into a doctor's office and say, excuse me, exactly what do you know about codependency? And if you do know about codependency, exactly what strategies are you going to teach me to help me get out of this way of thinking? Ross Rosenberg is one of my favorite teachers on codependency, and has actually trains people to help codependents get out of this codependent mind frame. This is what I do in my coaching classes as well. But I would say Ross Rosenberg is probably the only person that I've experienced on YouTube yet thus far that can actually hone in on what's going to happen in your life as you begin to break these codependent patterns. Okay, as a narcissist, for all of those out there like, okay, Lisa, what are the phrases? I'm going to get to that. I'm very long-winded, as you can tell. So, I just really want to say that, though, dear ones, if you're working with someone, skedaddle if they don't get you. Skedaddle until you find someone who does. They work for you. Okay, now, we're going to talk about the fact that most codependents attract narcissistic people. Why? Let's understand why. We attract narcissistic people because we have been mind screwed, and we don't know how to hold on to ourselves. And so we attract people who like to do that to other people. We attract people who like to mind, other people. They enjoy it. See, now you can't, I almost said it. Ooh, you can't mess with me now. You can't mess with me now. A man or a woman or anyone, a friend can't play those games with me anymore because I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm in touch with myself. So some of the phrases that I want you to be aware of are, I know what you're thinking. I know what you feel. I know why you did that. Ever have a conversation with a spouse when he said to you, I know why you did that. You did that because you think I. So here you have someone who knows what your intention is, and he knows what you think. I know how you feel about me. I know what you feel about her. I know why you did that. I know exactly why you did that. You did that because you think. Dear ones, I used to get spoken to like that all the time. And for instance, I'll go back when I was a little girl and I wanted nothing more than my mother's validation. And I bought her a pair of sneakers because her feet were so cracked from cleaning the house with bleach and water, and she never took care of herself. And I thought, okay, I'll save this money, I'll buy my mom a pair of sneakers, then she'll know how much I love her. And so when I present her with these sneakers, she says, what do you think you can buy, my love, Lisa? Here she was insinuating that my agenda wasn't pure and nothing could have been further from the truth. But because I was so worried about what she thought about me, I got swept up in feeling ashamed. I actually came away from that experience carrying shame, like, oh my God, is that why I bought my mom sneakers? I'm trying to buy her love? I was trying to feel validated. I was trying to get her to pay attention, maybe see a side in me that I knew she didn't see. I was trying to feel bonded with her. I remember when I was married to my first husband, narcissistic, covert narcissist, O.J. Simpson, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, passive-aggressive mofo. When I was married to him, I remember I bought him a birthday present, and he actually said to me, I know why you bought this. And I was like, because it's your birthday? And he went off into this whole long tirade about, I can't even remember exactly what it was, but how I was trying to convince him that the birthday presents that I bought for him were more meaningful than the birthday presents he bought for me. He actually came away with, you bought this for me because you want me to feel bad about the gifts that I buy you. Oh my God, that is so sick. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. But that was the way I lived. And so if I clean the bathroom, are you trying to tell me that you clean better than me? So what? You clean a bathroom better than I clean a bathroom. I mean, it was everywhere. Accusation, paranoia, it was everywhere. And because I was codependent and I was raised by two unrecovered adult children of alcoholics who unfortunately scrambled with my brain, and my mom especially, my mom is very suspicious of people, very, very critical of people, doesn't trust anybody. There are explanations. I mean, that's the effect. My mom is very critical and very judgmental. There is a cause, and those are her personal causes, and I totally get why my mom is that way. But she's a zombie because she's never confronted it and tried to work it out. And I think that awareness is like a ladder that never ends. And we're always supposed to be climbing those ladders. We're always supposed to be reaching for another rung on the ladder. And she doesn't do that. So I'm up here, my mom's down here, and I don't mean in terms of worth. We're all worthy. No one is more important than anyone else, and so I don't see myself as more worthy. I see myself as more aware. I see myself as more enlightened than my mom. I am. It's a fact. What can I tell you? Now, there are reasons she is that way. Her reasoning affected my reason. Literally, her thinking became my thinking. And it could be no other way, dear ones, because our programming comes from our parents. How and why? Well, because we come into this world knowing they're the boss. And we're supposed to be learning from them. They are our guardians. They're supposed to be guarding over us. We come into this world just assuming they know what the hell they're talking about. We don't know they don't. We don't know their history. We don't know that they're dysfunctional. We just know this is the way our house operates. That's all we know. So, and little homes are mini societies. And so they're mini communities. So we think everyone thinks like this. And so when we meet a family that doesn't think like this, we feel that discord, we feel that dis-ease, and we push it away. It could be exactly what we need to be exposed to, but because it's so not where we are, it doesn't feel right. So very, very important to pay attention when people say things to you like, I know what you're thinking. Really? Pray tell. What am I thinking? I'm thinking you're a boob right now for thinking you know what I'm thinking. How about we have a conversation and you listen to what, you shut up and you listen to what I'm saying instead of attacking me and then having the audacity to tell me what I think. Like I don't have a right to what I'm thinking. Are you kidding me? That's what a non-codependent person says. When a narcissistic type person says to you, I think you feel. So now you're thinking and you're feeling for me. That's amazing. That's quite a talent. Where did you learn that? When people say, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're feeling, you feel like, as a matter of fact, just the other night, my son and my daughter was observing a conversation between the two of them. And that's what I do. I observe. I observe them. I observe me. I observe everything. And I heard my son say to my daughter, my son's 26, and my daughter's 23. My middle daughter's 23. And he said to her, I know you think. That's why I did that. And I stopped him. I said, dude, I said, hold on. I said, I'm your mom. And if I see something I think is going to trip you up in life, it's my job to tell you. I mean, if I taught you to stay away from, I taught you to look both ways in the street, right? Before you cross, you don't get hit by a car. Dude, you're going to get slammed in life if you think you can speak to people this way. And if you believe it, you don't know what your sister thinks, and you don't know what she feels, and you don't know what she knows. A healthy conversation is, Michelle, tell me what you think. Tell me why you think I did that, so that I can figure out where the breakdown in the story is. Because this was my intent. This was my intent. I think possibly you may have thought, and please correct me if I'm wrong, did you think that I called that girl because of this? Then shut up and listen to her answer. Just shut up. Actually receive it. So when we're dealing with, and I love my son and I love my daughter, but they suffered because of the way they observed their father and their mother, me, and my ex-husband, speak to one another. They heard all day long, especially from him, oh, I know why you did that, Lisa. You did that because you're trying to hurt me. You did that because you were trying to, you think you're better than everybody else. You think that because you're trying to impress me. They heard that all day. And so it's part of their programming, and I, as their mother, have to pay attention to that. Not to criticize them, but to help correct the way they think. Because if they don't correct the way they think, then they're going to go through life thinking that when they come across someone, first of all, they're not going to be willing to listen to someone. They're going to assume they know everything that there is to know about that person, like my ex-husband assumed about me. My ex-husband, married to him, had 3 kids with him. He doesn't know who I am. And that is so sad. And I'm married for 2 years to a wonderful man that I've known for 5 years. And he knows me more than my ex-husband did. And I had children with my ex-husband. And I understand now that's because my ex-husband had no interest in knowing me. None. He's a narcissist. His interest was in telling me who I was. His interest was more wrapped up in trying to get me to worry about what I thought he thought about me. You see, as a codependent, I worried about what everyone thought about me. When my mother was raising me, it was always, well, what do you think that other person thinks? How do you think you made that person feel? Well, why did you do that? Well, how do you think she felt? So I was raised to disconnect from what I felt and worry about what everyone else felt. I think my mom was trying to come from a good place, but I don't think that she realized that I was completely annihilated. I was completely taken out of situations. Like I had no right to experience a situation. So if I came home and I said, Mom, Raymond was picking on me today, she would say, well, what'd you do to him? What'd you do? So a healthier thing to say to a child is this. How'd that make you feel? What do you mean? What do you mean he was picking on you? Why do you think that happened? Okay, not what did you do? What do you think his problem is that he would pick on you? And ultimately, how does that make you feel? You want to validate the experience, make it real, because if you don't, the child will get stuck in that place energetically, and a wound will get created. And those feelings will get suppressed because they didn't get to be expressed. What you don't express gets suppressed. And I thought of that. Isn't that clever, dear ones? You can use it if you want to. But not in writing. That's my stuff. Anyway, what you don't express gets suppressed. And it has to come out eventually. And so a better way to handle that situation is tell me what you think. Tell me what you feel. And then what do you want to do about it? How do you think you're going to handle this tomorrow? Help your children learn how to validate their experience. It's your job to validate what they're going through. So that's that. Now, if you were using language like, I know what you think, I know why she said that, I know what you feel, correct yourself. You don't know how people think and you don't know how people feel. You don't, not really. If you're a better way to go about relationships is to actually relate, is to listen to what the other person is saying. Hear what they're saying. Now, if you feel like you're being manipulated, you probably are, dear one. You probably are. So then you have a choice. Accept how you feel what you feel, and then decide what you want to do about it. When I'm confronted with someone who speaks to me like that, like, oh, I know why you said that, I'm immediately turned off, and I cut it right there. I tell people, I'm interested in having conversations. If you're going to tell me what I feel, I could just, I'll give you a picture, an 8x10 glossy, and you can talk to the picture because you think you know me. There's no reason for me to be a part of this conversation because you're not asking me what I feel. You're assuming you know. Now, if you'd like to know, we can have an intelligent conversation about that. But if you're going to keep telling me what I think and telling me what I know, then there's no reason for me to be part of this conversation. So, dear ones, I hope that has enlightened you a little bit, and I hope that makes you feel a little bit stronger, a little bit more confident about moving forward in the world and having conversations. Pay attention, dear ones. Narcissists tell you what to think. They actually imply that they know what you're thinking, and they don't. But you can't counter that unless you get that straight in your head, unless you become aware that, he's telling me what I think. He's telling me why I did what I did. He's telling me how I feel. He's assuming that he knows how I feel. You have to counter that with, excuse me, if you want to know how I feel, I'll tell you. If you want to know what I think, I'll tell you. If you want to know why I did something, I'll tell you. That doesn't mean you're going to hear it. It doesn't mean you're going to believe it. It doesn't mean you're going to receive it. But if you want to speak to me and figure out the reasons why, I'm more than happy to tell you. So, dear ones, stay clear of those narcissistic conversations. If you are married to a narcissist, hold strong. Learn to ground yourself. You will frustrate him or her. Plenty of female narcissists out there that tell you what side of the bed to get in on. That tell you where you should put your shoes and what shoes you should wear. Plenty of those going around. But if you have a narcissist in your life, it's going to help you get clear about how to communicate effectively, and they will get frustrated and they will get angry. And I had a lovely comment by a woman named Gwen, who has just started following the channel, and she added her insight, very wise, and she said, if you want to know if you're dealing with a narcissist, disagree with them. When you disagree with a narcissist, it's like you set off a bomb. They cannot deal with the fact that you're not agreeing with them, and that's an indicator that you're dealing with a troubled person. If you say to someone, "Oh, I can hear your opinion, but this is what I think," and if they can receive what you're saying, then you're dealing with someone who's a lot more stable. But then again, there are always covert narcissists who, first few times you meet them, they'll act like it's okay that you disagree with them, but it really isn't. They're waiting for you. They're waiting until they really have you. At least until they feel like they really have you, before they really start to show the true colors. Dear ones, let me know how you feel. Please subscribe to my channel and consider taking my upcoming teleclass in September. The last one was a huge success, and I look forward to coaching more of you soon. If you would like to coach me one-on-one, just reach out to me at lisaaramano@gmail.com or healingselfesteem@gmail.com. Namaste, everybody. I bow to the love and the light in you. The light in you. You are light and you are loved, dear one. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Namaste.